What if the wave that crashes over your head isn't meant to drown you? What if it's meant to delight you? No, seriously. You remember that guy named Peter who saw Jesus out on the water? He and the other disciples said, "It's a ghost," walking on the waves towards them. And Jesus identified himself. Peter said, "Lord, if it's you, tell me to come to you out on the water." Maybe you know the rest of the story. Jesus did say, "Come." Peter got out of the boat and actually walked on the water towards the Lord. But then the word says he saw the wind. Some translations even say the boisterous wind. Then he became afraid, he began to sink, and he cried out for help. Okay, think about that with me. I assume Peter was watching Jesus when he got out because the text seems to indicate that his attention was then drawn to the wind. He saw the wind, became afraid, began to sink, and cried out. And praise Jesus, he was there, reached down, caught Peter, and saved him, as he does for us so many times. Well, I've been pondering this passage, especially since my own wave experience back on December 26th. Oh, you haven't heard about it? Okay. I love this story, but it's not as good without a visual. So I did include the link to the video of this experience in the show notes. Be sure to take a look. On this experience, it came right on the forefront of 2026. So I'm contemplating it a lot. I had no idea that God was using this experience to begin to whisper some things to my heart that would become my invitation and my intention for 2026. God is speaking. He loves to speak, and I'd like you to consider maybe He's speaking to you as well. Hey there. Welcome to Mom Mentoring. This is a podcast for kingdom-minded moms who are doing all the right things, but still feel like there's something missing. You can't figure out how to find that place of abundant life that you are promised in the Word of God. I'm your host, Misty Hughes. I'm a certified life leadership transformational coach for women, podcast host, wife, mom of four, a gregarious Grammy of 6 amazing humans, and a former single mom who knows exactly what it's like to carry the weight of the world and wonder, when do I get to rest? Maybe you're listening today while you're folding the laundry, sitting in the carpool line, or sneaking 5 minutes in the bathroom just to hear yourself think. I see you, and guess what? I've been there too. Maybe you're bracing for the next hard thing. Maybe you're exhausted from trying to control all the outcomes you were never meant to carry. Maybe you're longing for peace in the chaos and wondering, is it even possible to experience joy when life is so unpredictable? Hey there, I see you, and I want you to know this podcast is for you. For years, I ran on my good ideas, and trust me, I have a lot of great ideas and the responsibility to get them all done. I raised 4 incredible adults, built a life rooted in faith, and I juggled more roles than I care to count. From the outside, I look strong, but inside, I was usually exhausted and craving more that I couldn't seem to find. I wanted to live fully alive, fully aligned with the heart of the Father. I had this desire to live, lead, and love from a place of abundance. And I wanted to create that safe space for other women to discover what that life looked like and felt like. That's what led me to start a women's ministry for single moms that I gave leadership to for over 12 years. And eventually I landed right here on this podcast and in coaching. My friends lovingly call me a dream champion and a gratitude guide. And honestly, those titles make my heart so full. That's the gift I want to give the world. That's the gift I want to give you as your coach and mom mentor. Now, just so you know, I'm not talking about a quick fix. I'm talking about a sacred shift. And if you're ready to stop surviving and start living from this place of abundance and alignment, I want to invite you to join the Mom to Mom Mentoring Facebook group. Just search for it on Facebook, Mom, the number 2, Mom Mentoring. I'll put the link in the show notes as well. Now, for today's episode, you might want to grab your floaties or maybe just take a deep breath, because we are about ready to dive into what happens when the unexpected wave comes crashing over your head, and discovering that sometimes God's greatest gifts come in the form of things we never saw coming. Okay, travel back with me to the sun and the sea. And if you live in the Midwest right now, we have sub-zero weather, and that's where I want to be, back in the sun and fun. Let me take you back to Puerto Rico, where we were at this place called Cueva del Indio. There were stunning rock formations right on the coast where the Atlantic waves crash into the shore. My husband, Craig, who wasn't the rock climbing man he usually is due to an impending knee replacement surgery, took a pause and was sitting on a rock, just taking it all in. Meanwhile, my daughter Morgan and her partner Seth were off adventuring on the heights, exploring the rock formations. And me, well, I was wandering around the lower ports, kind of doing my own thing, a little uncertain if I wanted to risk climbing these rocks alone. But then I saw Morgan and Seth start to head back towards me, and I said, I'm going to go meet them. Morgan was so excited when I caught up with them. She discovered these pools of water up in the rock formations that you could actually stand or sit in, kind of like a natural hot tub. You see, sometimes you just need the hand or heart of someone a little bit further along, maybe a little bit steadier than you are, to go and explore and discover the amazing things that are up in the high places. That was Morgan for me that day. With her at my side, I felt a little bit more steady to help me on some of the rough areas. We were off. We climbed to the top of the formation and settled into one of these pools. The water was about hip deep. On one side was the sea, and the other side, the scenery of all these incredible rock formations. And we thought, wouldn't it be amazing to get a photo of a wave splashing on the rocks behind us? So Seth became the official photographer. We turned toward the sea and we waited with anticipation for the wave to come. And then we saw it. A wave that was forming out at sea. We were like giddy with excitement because it looked like it was going to be a good one. And as it came closer, we began to turn to pose for the photo. But before we even got turned around, the wave crashed over the rocks and literally came over our heads and completely submerged us underneath. We were forced down in the pool by the force of the wave. And apparently it got Seth too. You can see it all in the video, which I've linked in the show notes. I'm not even sure how he held on to the phone, but he did. We were underwater for just a moment. And as we came out, I was a little bit disoriented, trying to get my footing. I was laughing and saying, I'm okay. I'm okay. But I could sense that Morgan was a little concerned by her voice that you hear on the video, and Set, he was declaring triumphantly, I got it on video. You can hear Morgan faintly say, that is one video we don't want to show Craig. But as we climbed out of the pool, soaking wet, laughing, checking our phones and all of our persons, making sure we had everything, we looked up. Craig was sitting on the rock, clapping his hands. He had watched the whole thing. Now, here's where it continues to get a little more interesting. After we climbed up, people that we were passing and people that came up were asking, how long did you have to wait for that wave? They wanted to experience what we had just experienced. I'm standing there dripping wet and I'm thinking, we didn't wait at all. We just turned around and it happened. But what I found out since being home, that in coastal areas with rock formations like Cueva del Indio, the powerful Atlantic is crashing against the rock formations constantly. But waves like the kind that we experienced that splash up and over and fill those rock pools, they're not as common. They're somewhat rare, few and far in between. We didn't see another wave like it the entire time we were there. And as I thought about that, it hit me. God, my God, orchestrated that moment for us, for me and my girl. And we got it on video. Now, if you've followed me for any amount of time, you know I love a good adventure. In the moment, it didn't necessarily feel like this wave was a divine appointment, but as I've reflected on it, I've been amazed at my Father's kindness. It gives him pleasure to delight our hearts, to do good things, to show off his faithfulness. He is a father that loves to give good gifts to his children. You know that song, Oh, How He Loves? It says, heaven meets earth like a sloppy wet kiss. It's known for its passionate imagery of God's unrestrained, messy, unconditional love. And you know what? That's what I felt. And that's what I still feel as I revel in the wonder of that experience. Micah 7 actually says, he delights to show us his faithfulness. I have a question I'd like to invite you to consider. When was the last time you experienced unexpected joy? What if God is more interested in delighting you than you realize? Later, as I was reflecting on that moment, and yes, the very real danger we were probably in, God continued to speak, and I'm so glad I didn't rush ahead, but I stayed in that space with him because he reminded me who I am and who he is. And I believe he wants me anchored here as I step into 2026, a new year, a new season, whatever it holds. He said, Misty, you are safe with me. You are safe in me. You can enjoy the wind and the waves when I'm the one hiding you in the cleft of the rock. I think that's pretty profound as I enter into 2026, not knowing what a day brings. There's a beautiful passage in Psalm 42, verse 7 and 8. It says, deep calls unto deep in the roar of your waterfalls. All your waves and breakers have swept over me. You see, the deep places of God are calling out to the deep places in you and the deep places in me. His waves and breakers are rushing over us, coming over us. By day, the Lord directs his love. At night, his song is with me. Did you catch the paradox? As the waves and breakers sweep over us, the Lord is directing his love and singing over you. Both are true. What does it look like? What does it feel like to live in that serene space of allowing these waves to come upon us, knowing we're held by a loving God who is singing his songs of joy over us? Maybe this wave has already crashed over your head and you're disoriented, trying to get your footing. Maybe you're watching the wave out in the distance and you're terrified of what's coming. Either way, please hear this, beloved. You are safe with him. You are safe in him. You can even enjoy the wind and the waves when he's the one hiding you in the cleft of the rock. He is your refuge, the high tower that you can run to. Think back to our friend Peter. When did he begin to sink? Was it when he became afraid? I think it's when he got his eyes off Jesus. And I think that's a really good image to think about as we continue on in a new year, keeping our eyes fixed on the author and the perfecter of your faith, because you are going to face unexpected waves. Some will catch you off guard, and some will feel overwhelming. What if instead of bracing for the impact in fear, you learned to keep your eyes on him, to find your security in him? What if we as women could experience delighting in this adventure because we know who has us in the palm of his hand? You know, this is what I get to do as a coach. I help women by asking different questions, by helping them put on a new lens and partner with God in this journey of discovery. Because sometimes we need someone to help us see what God is already whispering to our hearts. Sometimes we need the hand or heart of another to help steady us through transition and transformation. The wave is coming, but so is the joy. And as your coach, I can help you hold on to both. You know, true confession here. I wasn't always this way. For years as a young mom before my divorce, all I did was ask, what if? What if this? What if that? It was a horrendous place to live from. It was exhausting to my husband at the time and to myself. I dwelt in the land of fear. In my divorce, I was confronted with my deepest fear, rejection and abandonment. There was no what ifing my way out of it. I was stuck in my worst case scenario. And in order to survive with joy, I had to know the peace of God. I was desperate. The first 4 or 5 years of single parenting were a lot about confronting those fears, learning that I was safe with him, learning who he is as my trustworthy husband, that he was dependable, that he was provider, and he had my best interest at heart. One day, rocking in my grandma's blue rocking chair, back and forth, my meeting place with Jesus, I sensed him encouraged my heart. Misty, as deep as the sorrow goes, my joy goes even deeper. I knew then, as I know now, his joy is there because he is there. I had to learn to access that joy, not a fake Susie Sunshine type of joy, but that abiding place of it is well with my soul kind of joy. And to find it then, to discover what was there all along, I had to dive into the hard and trust that Jesus would not let me drown. God led me through that sorrow and suffering then, and I became free. I'm still becoming free in parts of me even now. I'd like to invite you to consider another question I have. Where are you living in the what if right now? What adventure might God be inviting you into that fear is keeping you from? Well, before this adventure in Puerto Rico, I'd been going through an Advent Bible study with a friend, looking at all the miracles that surround the birth of Jesus. I was asking God before we even went to Puerto Rico to help me be open to miracles in my own life, expectant that He is a God of miracles. And then this happened. God knows me. He knows my heart. He knows what I love. And it was His delight to give me this miraculous moment. But more than that, He had a truth He wanted to whisper to my heart. Truth that I need as I step into 2026. And that is a miracle too. He is the God that goes before us. I was confronted by my deepest fear in my divorce. There was no controlling my way out of it. I had to learn that Jesus was trustworthy, that He is good, and that He had me. And friend, maybe that's where you are right now. Maybe God wants to delight you in ways others wouldn't even understand. Maybe He has a wave with your name on it. It looks completely different than mine. Maybe for you, it's a faith-filled step. Finally having that hard conversation. Starting a thing that you've been putting off. Saying no to something or someone who's draining you. Saying yes to something that terrifies you. Trusting Him with your kids' choices. Letting go of control in your marriage. Stepping into a new season, even though the path is not clear before you. Whatever it is, there is a wave coming, but so is the joy, because Jesus is the one holding you. You don't have to brace for impact. You can actually experience delight in the adventure. So, one more question as we close. What if 2026 is the year you stop bracing for impact and start trusting the one who is hiding you in the cleft of the rock? Friend, the wave came and the joy came too. And if there's one thing I would like for you to take away from today, it's this. You are safe with Him. You can enjoy the wind and the waves when He's holding you. You don't have to live in fear of what's coming. You don't even have to brace for the impact. You can trust the one who delights to show you His faithfulness. Let me close with my passage from Matthew 5, verses 14 through 16 from the Message. You, my beloved, are here to be light, bringing out the God colors in the world. God is not a secret to be kept. We're going public with this, as public as a city on a hill. If I make you light bearers, you don't think I'm going to hide you under a bucket, do you? I'm putting you on a light stand. Now that I put you there on the hilltop, on that light stand, shine. Keep open house. Be generous with your lives. By opening up to others, you'll prompt people to open up to God, this generous Father in heaven. Mama, you are here to be light, even in the waves, even when you can't see what's coming, even when you're disoriented and trying to find your footing. When you shine, when you trust Him in the unexpected, when you choose joy in the midst of the wave, you give others permission to do the same. Maybe you're listening today and you realize, I'm stuck. I'm tired of living in the what if, and I'm tired of bracing for the next hard thing. Maybe you want to step into something new, but you don't know where to start. Well, I'd like to invite you to a free 30-minute clarity call with me. On that call, we'll talk about your stuck areas and find an action step that you can take to move you toward your desired outcome. We'll also talk about why coaching might be a good fit for you in this season of life. There's no pressure, no obligation, just clarity and a next step. You can find the link in the show notes. If you want to see a video of that wave crashing over us, I have the link in the show notes to that as well. Fair warning, it's intense, but it's also a beautiful reminder that God delights to delight you. Join me next week. We're going to begin to explore some rhythms that will help you come back into alignment in 2026 when you feel like you're getting off balance. I'm also going to share about an amazing virtual space I'm opening up in February for you to connect with God, rediscover your identity, and build life-giving rhythms with other kingdom-minded moms. You're not going to want to miss it. If today's episode resonated with you, would you do me a favor? Leave a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever podcast platform you listen on. And share this episode with just one friend who needs to hear it. When you do that, you're helping other moms find this community, and you're giving them permission to step into their own faith-filled adventures. Until next time, beloved, may you find joy in the waves, peace in the wind, and security in the cleft of the rock. I'm Misty Hughes, and you have been listening to Mom to Mom Mentoring. Now, go shine.